Have any of you ever felt disheartened or even felt like crying after moving to a new place, city, country, state, or maybe just shifting school perhaps? If yes, I think you'll find yourself all in some very good company. Hello everyone, I'm Bhoomi Joshi and today I'm going to be talking about relocation and adaptation to change in an environment. Now, a little backstory about me. I was born in Porbandar, Gujarat, India, and had shifted to Dubai, the United Arab Emirates, at the age of just 3 months, and had almost lived my entire life there up till ninth standard. As a teenager, of course, I rebelled against my parents and asked, do I have to really leave out my entire life here, leave my friends, my school, my lifestyle, and shift to a new country that I've never been aware of? Now, my parents had a reason. My dad especially. He told me, beta, if you don't learn the skill of adapting and adjusting to even a small or a big things in your life, you'll never truly know life. And as my mom said, there is no true life faced without hardship and struggles. Now, as a teenager, I didn't really understand them, but I conceded them. So I didn't have much of an option back there to live there alone, so of course I shifted here. Now, I'm going to be talking about the regrets that I faced while transitioning to India. Regret number one was never fully accepting the situation. I just never gave or put myself fully in the situation, and I just kept thinking this is just a phase, this will get over. Maybe a year or two later, I'll shift back to Dubai. But none of that happened for the next 5 years. That's where life taught me one more lesson. I'm pretty sure many of you are tired of listening to it. But your life truly begins where your comfort zone ends. Suppose you're living in a box and you never stepped out of that box truly. You don't know about the 100 other opportunities working or waiting themselves for you. And you must be thinking, I've been robbed of those opportunities. No, you never went out of that box. You never went out of that box to present yourself with those opportunities. Moving on to regret number two. How many of you all relate to this? I still, not very proudly, relate to this. I am a huge procrastinator, something that I did knowledge myself of during the COVID-19 pandemic when my school was fully online. I thought I'd be doing all of my workload, I'd be on top of all my assignments, I'd be making every day my day. Newsflash, none of that happened. In fact, I just let all my workload pile up and I never really did any of it until the very last moment, until it was breathing down my neck. And I'd like to think that maybe I worked better under stress, which is true, but it's not really healthy, isn't it? Stepping on to the last leg of my regrets is never stepping out of my comfort zone. Now you must be thinking, isn't that one of your first regrets? My first regret actually talks about me crying and cribbing in an unwanted situation I was placed in. That's where life taught me one more lesson. That if you don't make up the work, if you don't put in the work to make a better out of a situation and all you do is just cry about it, nothing's really going to happen. No one is going to throw you a lifesaver until you figure out how to save your life. So I never stepped out of my comfort zone. I never explored anything new. I never got to learn anything new between those years. Now, but you see, to our very core, we are just very basic creatures with basic necessities. We like to mark our territory, we like to mark our habitat, our safe space, and we do not wish to separate ourselves from it. Why must we separate ourselves from it when it's so comforting? Again, I haven't come out here all the way just to list the cons of the topic or the woes of the topic. I'm also here to tell the pros of it. One thing that I mainly learned was you become resourceful, independent and flexible. When life throws such challenges at you, it may not be such as transitioning to a new country, but it even may be smaller situations. But the impact has to be great. The impact of a situation on how you react determines your strength, your grit, your resilience. Second thing that I learned was I started to enjoy my own company rather than the company of people. I started to enjoy how to enjoy my company, solitude, rather than being in the company of people. Many a times people have this notion that if you're not in the company of people, or if there are no people around you to maybe make you laugh, make you sad, make you cry, then you'll truly be alone and there's no meaning to life if you don't have friends. But that's not true. You learn to enjoy your own company. It's not something that one hands you on a silver platter. It's when something learns. You learn new things about yourself every day. It's a discovery. Thirdly, what I learned was my biggest battle was loneliness during that time. I had shifted to a new country, unknown territory, uncharted waters. And it was a new school for me entirely. I had no friends truly, if I'm speaking. Of course, I had my friends back from Dubai, but at a certain point of time afterwards, you start to push them away. Why burden them with you when you're not even there with them? So that was my biggest that was the biggest consequence that I faced about loneliness. But then those situations help to emerge an opportunity that heal part of yourself that even you don't realize. And until and unless those opportunities do not emerge, you never really confront yourself. You don't confront yourself. You just let it go, and let it build up. Let that emotional ball of frustration build up until you just break that dam one day. Fourthly, what I learned was time is of essence. None of us really have that luxury on us. So I quickly learned what was of importance to me and what wasn't of importance to me. When you realize that your life is short, you decide when, where, and how you get to spend your energy. To conclude, what I learned was, that heavy pit feeling, leaving your stomach, when you're no longer looking back and, no longer defining yourselves with your past selves of who you used to be, who you will be, who I am right now. And that, in conclusion, it was all a very liberating and an exhilarating experience for me, where the results were maybe not effectively sourced, but efficiently sourced for me in due time. Know this, when you accept a situation or anything that is thrown at you, you have done 90% of the work. And you have to believe that the other 10% will follow through. Thank you all so much for being such an attentive crowd. That was it.
Thank you, Bhoomi.